The building was older than he liked to admit. Brick facade, narrow staircases, chipped molding around the doorways, not run down exactly, but weathered in a way that made it feel like it remembered things better than it should. When he signed the lease, the landlord made a vague gesture toward the upstairs unit, saying it was vacant for now, and that he shouldn't worry about noise. He didn't. He had no reason to. For the first few days, everything was quiet, an occasional creak from the walls, the hum of the refrigerator, the wind brushing against the loose window frame, all the sounds he had come to expect in an apartment like this. Then came the sound at 2:17 a.m. It was the fifth night. He'd gone to bed just after midnight, the air heavy and warm, the ceiling fan turning slow above him. He was drifting between sleep and waking, hovering in that strange gray space where thoughts don't quite make sense, when he heard the first scrape, a long, deliberate dragging sound, as if something heavy was being pulled across the floor directly above his head. He opened his eyes, heart suddenly alert. Listened. The sound came again, slower this time, more hesitant, but unmistakably furniture, something large and wooden shifting across an uncarpeted floor. He waited for footsteps, voices, music, anything, but there was nothing. Just that dragging sound, followed by silence. When he checked the time, the clock on his phone read 2:17 a.m. exactly. He tried to brush it off. Old buildings made noises. Pipes rattled, floorboards settled, structures shifted with the cold. But the next night, he awoke again at 2:17, and the noise returned, more insistent, longer this time, not just one piece of furniture but several. It seemed, as though someone was rearranging a room above him slowly, dragging each item across the floor with care. He went upstairs the following afternoon, more curious than concerned. The door to the upstairs unit was locked. Dust had gathered along the edges of the threshold. No welcome mat, no mailbox nameplate, no sign of occupancy. He knocked once. No answer. He pressed his ear against the wood, silence. That night, he set an alarm for 2:15 a.m. Sat up in bed with the lights off. Waited. 2 minutes passed in complete stillness. Then, on cue, the sound returned. Louder now. Not chaotic, but deliberate, methodical, as if someone above him was arranging furniture according to some unknown pattern, pushing chairs, dragging tables, shifting weight from one corner to another with unnatural precision. He stayed perfectly still. The sound lasted 8 minutes. Then stopped. He couldn't explain why the sound unsettled him so deeply. It wasn't violent or frantic, but there was something in its timing, its intent, that felt wrong. He told himself it was probably a maintenance worker, someone accessing the unit at night, maybe doing repairs. But the noise had no human rhythm to it. No scuff of shoes. No murmur of tools or conversation. Just movement, detached from any presence. By the 10th night, he stopped trying to sleep through it. He began listening. Mapping it. The sound started in the center of the ceiling, then drifted toward the far end of the apartment, always in the same sequence. Some nights it was only one long drag. Others, it was 3 or 4, evenly spaced, never rushed. Always between 2:17 and 2:25 a.m. He recorded it once. Played it back during the day. But the sound was faint, too faint to analyze. Just a distant, muffled scrape beneath the hum of the building's ambient noise. It didn't capture the weight, the vibration, the presence he felt in his bones. And then one night, just as the sound began, he reached for his phone, and the battery was dead. He checked the outlet. The lamp had shut off too. And as the dragging continued above him, steady and slow, he sat in darkness, realizing the sound was no longer faint. It was closer, clearer, as if the ceiling itself had thinned, or as if whatever moved above had grown bolder, more precise, more deliberate. He didn't sleep that night. And when he checked the ceiling the next morning, there were faint lines, almost invisible scratches, running across the paint in straight, parallel lines. Exactly where the sounds had passed. He began to avoid going to bed altogether, not out of fear in the traditional sense, but because there was something about the moment before the noise began, that anticipatory silence at exactly 2:16, when the world held its breath and the walls of his apartment seemed to stiffen, that unsettled him more than the sound itself, and so he took to pacing in the dark, sitting in the kitchen with the lights off, watching the ceiling like one might watch the surface of still water, waiting for the first ripple to appear and confirm what the body already knew, that something above him, in that supposedly empty unit, was awake, aware, and rearranging. He asked the landlord again, casually at first, as if it were a minor curiosity, but the man merely frowned, said no one had keys to that unit but him, that it hadn't been shown in over a year, that there was no furniture up there, nothing at all, in fact, just an empty shell. When he asked about noises at night, the landlord waved him off, muttered something about pipes or raccoons in the walls, and quickly changed the subject.